DHCP Server on Windows Server 2025, Complete Configuration Guide. Verify static IP configuration. Before installing the DHCP server role, the server must have a static IP address assigned to its network adapter. If the DHCP server itself has a dynamically assigned address, clients would lose connectivity to it if that address ever changed. Open network connections from the Control Panel by navigating to Control Panel, Network, and Sharing Center, and then change adapter settings. Right-click your active network adapter and select Properties. Select Internet Protocol version 4 and click Properties. Ensure use the following IP address is selected and verify that a manual address, subnet mask, and default gateway are properly configured. Click OK and close the windows once verified. Install the DHCP server role. Open Server Manager from the taskbar or Start menu. In the top right corner, click Manage and then select Add Roles and Features. Click Next on the Before You Begin page. Select Role-Based or Feature-Based Installation and click Next. Select your server from the server pool and click Next. On the Server Roles page, scroll down and check the box for DHCP Server. A pop-up will appear asking if you want to add the required management tools. Click Add Features. Click Next through the Features page and the DHCP Server Introduction page. On the Confirmation page, click Install. Wait for the installation to complete and then click Close. The installation does not require a reboot. Complete post-installation configuration. After installation finishes, a yellow warning indicator appears at the top of Server Manager with a message indicating configuration is required. Click the yellow warning triangle and then click the Complete DHCP Configuration link. Follow the DHCP post-installation configuration wizard. Accept the default credentials, which use the current administrator account, and click Commit to complete the configuration. This step finalizes the security settings and prepares the DHCP service to run. Authorize the DHCP server. If the server is part of an Active Directory domain, authorization is a required security step. Authorization prevents unauthorized DHCP servers from operating on the network and handing out incorrect IP addresses. An unauthorized DHCP server in a domain environment will not function properly. Open the DHCP console from the Tools menu in Server Manager. In the left-hand tree, right-click on your server's name and select Authorize. Wait approximately 10 to 15 seconds, then right-click the server name again and select Refresh. The server icon should now display a green checkmark indicating it is authorized and active. If the server is in a workgroup or standalone environment, skip this step. Create a DHCP scope. A scope is the pool of IP addresses that the DHCP server can lease to clients on a specific subnet. In the DHCP console, expand your server node, right-click IPv4, and select New Scope. Click Next on the welcome screen. Enter a descriptive name for the scope, such as Main Office Subnet, and optionally add a description. Click Next. Define the IP address range by entering a start IP address and an end IP address. For this example, use 192.168.1.100 as the start address and 192.168.1.200 as the end address. For the length, enter 24, which automatically sets the subnet mask to 255.255.255.0. Click Next. On the Add Exclusions page, leave it blank and click Next. Exclusions can be added manually after the scope is created. Set the lease duration to 1 day, which is appropriate for a typical office network, and click Next. On the Configure DHCP Options page, select Yes, I want to configure these options now and click Next. Configure Scope Options. IP addresses alone are not sufficient for clients to function on a network. They also need to know how to reach the internet through a default gateway and how to resolve domain names through DNS servers. DHCP delivers these settings as scope options. For the router option, which is the default gateway, Type your network gateway IP address and click Add. Then click Next. For the domain name and DNS servers, enter your domain name in the parent domain field. For a test lab, you can enter local. Under IP address, type your DNS server IP address. In many environments, this is the same IP address as the Windows server itself. Click Add and then click Next. Leave the Win Servers field blank and click Next. On the Activate Scope page, select Yes, I want to activate this scope now. Click Next and then click Finish. Create an exclusion range. Exclusions tell the DHCP server not to automatically lease specific IP addresses within the scope. This is used to reserve addresses for static devices such as servers, routers, and network switches. In the DHCP console, expand IPv4 and then expand your scope. Right-click Address Pool and select New Exclusion Range. Enter the start IP address and end IP address you wish to exclude. For this example, exclude 192.168.1.1 through 192.168.1.99 to protect the lower range for static devices. Click Add and then click Close. The address pool will now show that portion as excluded, and the DHCP server will never lease those addresses. Create an IP reservation. Reservations are different from exclusions. An exclusion says never use this IP address. A reservation says always give this specific IP address to this specific device. Reservations tie an IP address to a device's unique MAC address, which is the physical hardware address of its network interface. This is ideal for devices like printers, VoIP phones, or critical workstations that need a consistent IP address but still benefit from DHCP management. Right-click Reservations under your scope and select New Reservation. Enter a descriptive name for the reservation. Enter the IP address you want to reserve. Enter the MAC address of the device, which can be found by running IP protocol configuration/all on the device itself. Leave supported types as both and click Add, then click Close. The specified device will now always receive that IP address from the DHCP server. Activate the scope and verify. Scopes can be active or inactive. An inactive scope will not lease any IP addresses, which is useful if you need to temporarily stop DHCP services on a subnet without deleting the configuration. Look at your scope in the DHCP console tree. A red down arrow indicates the scope is inactive, while a green up arrow indicates it is active. If the scope is inactive, right-click it and select Activate. The icon should change to green with a check mark, indicating the scope is now fully operational. Test from a client machine. Testing from a client machine verifies that the DHCP server is functioning correctly. On a Windows client connected to the same network, open Command Prompt as an administrator. Release any existing IP address by running IP protocol configuration/release. Request a new IP address from the DHCP server by running IP protocol configuration/renew. View the full network configuration by running IP protocol configuration/all. Verify that the IPv4 address is within the scope range. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. The default gateway matches the configured gateway. The DHCP server listed is your Windows server, and the DNS servers match your configured DNS IP address. If the client receives an address starting with 169.254, this indicates an APIPA address, meaning the client could not reach the DHCP server. Check network connectivity and firewall settings. Configure DHCP failover. In a production environment, a single DHCP server is a single point of failure. If it goes down, no new devices can join the network and existing leases cannot be renewed. DHCP failover allows two DHCP servers to share scope information, ensuring uninterrupted IP assignment if one server fails. Failover is supported only for IPv4 scopes. In the DHCP console, right-click your scope name and select Configure Failover. Click Next on the introduction screen. Click Add Server to browse for a second DHCP server. Select the failover mode. Hot standby keeps one server as the primary and the other on standby, only activating if the primary fails. Load balance shares the workload between both servers with a default split of 50/50. Under Message Authentication, enable authentication and enter a shared secret, which is a password that secures communication between the two servers. Click Next and then Finish to configure the failover relationship. Ensure the system clocks between the two DHCP servers are synchronized for failover to work properly. Backup the DHCP database. The DHCP service automatically backs up its database every 60 minutes, but manual backups are recommended before making major changes or migrating to new hardware. In the DHCP console,